Hey everybody! Thank you so much for joining our live today. We are so excited to have Alexa and Carlos Penavega join us in just a few minutes. But thank you guys so much for jumping on. I wanted to sort of let you guys know a few things to make this live go awesome, because it's going to be an inspirational and powerful conversation with these two. The comments are awesome. I want you guys to utilize the comments, engage, have a good time. By the way, let me know if you can hear me okay, because I do have my my earphones on and I'm not quite sure if they're linked up to my phone. So if you guys can hear me, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. That would be super helpful for me. So utilize the chat, have a good time, engage, definitely connect. I know you guys are going to connect with the conversation of today, but if you have actual questions, thank you so much, Ashley, for letting me know, and Elizabeth, Grace Atlanta, thanks guys, thanks for the thumbs up, I appreciate it. If you guys have an actual question for Alexa and Carlos, utilize the box right at the bottom of the live. It has two boxes, like two little boxes and a question mark. That's going to be awesome for me to make sure that your questions are getting answered on the live. So like I said, comments are great, engage, have a good time, but utilize that question box for actual questions for Alexa and Carlos, which we're going to be jumping on in just a few minutes. Tell me where you guys are watching from in the chat. Would love to know where you are. I'm currently in Miami, Florida. Steph and I, my other co-founder and sister, we're still separated because of the quarantine and social distancing, but because of our event Saturday, we'll be back together. We will be social distancing there as well, but we'll be back in the studio, which we're really, really excited about. So if you guys have not gotten your tickets for Saturday's event, definitely check out our link in our bio, and we just cannot wait to see you there. Long Island, New York. Anyone else from New York? Hey, Steph. Steph is in the chat. Anyone else from New York? Dallas, Texas. Anyone from Texas? How are you guys doing? How's it going over there? I see that Alexa has joined. We're so excited to have her on. Springfield, New York. Hi, Elizabeth from Springfield, New York. Amazing. We have so many great people on the chat. So it is 5:15 on the East Coast, and so we're going to get started. But before I bring in Alexa and Carlos, I do want to share a little bit about them. So what I'm going to do now is this is the first time I'm doing this, you guys. This is so cool. Okay, we're going to take off that so we can let them in. And we're going to remove that. Okay, cool. So Alexa and Carlos Penavega are two of my favorite people on the planet. And honestly, you guys made Alexa's podcast episode #1 in the entire series. So across season 1 and season 2 of our podcast, Alexa's is #1. So many of you guys have messaged us saying thank you so much for having her on the show, because with her story, her message really resonated with you guys and helped you guys go through a challenging time. So definitely check out her episode if you haven't yet. It's a powerful one. But they are actors. A lot of you guys know Alexa from Spy Kids and Carlos from Nickelodeon, but they're both well known now for all of their Hallmark movies, which I love. And they're awesome parents. They're husband and wife. And they have 2 beautiful little boys. You guys, if you don't check out their vlog, you're missing out, because they are one adorable family. So they've got this great series that they launched on IGTV called Wow. It's all about their faith. It's all about how they're diving into their faith, and they're letting us in to their journey, which is what I love. So welcome them in the chat, because I'm about to bring them on. Say hello to Alexa and Carlos Penavega. If I can let them in. Hold on. We're coming. Here we go. We are connecting. Woo!
Come on, where's Carlos? Where are you gonna go, babe?
How are you guys?
Hey! So good to see you guys. I am good. I am here. It's been pouring rain in Miami. It's like hurricane every day. I'm lucky that the sun is out now. It's like, I need the lighting. I don't have a ring light in here. So I was like, I need natural light for this live.
Get that sunshine. Get that sunshine.
I know.
Oh,
How are you guys?
So good. You know, we were going to watch the launch.
Oh, yeah. We're
we
so
were
bummed
try to
that the
watch
launch was scrubbed for today.
No.
That's
For
for the weather.
SpaceX, right? I know.
Yeah, but Saturday is the next launch day, so I'm really hoping. And it was, I really want Ocean to experience it, so Let's
yeah,
put it up.
love
Put it on
it.
the big TV. Let Ocean watch
I
it.
will love that
Yeah.
so
That's
much.
so cool. Like a year ago, I actually went up there. We got invited to go and like see the facilities, and I had no idea that SpaceX is associated to Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and I've just come to be like a Tesla fanatic. I cannot wait for my car lease to be over because I want a Tesla so bad.
Yes.
Oh, geez. I fell in love with the story, the mission of the company. So after I'd been seeing all this, I was like, wow, I was there, and I had no idea it was like associated to like Elon Musk and the whole thing. So it's super, super cool.
We are huge Tesla fanatics.
I
over
know.
here.
I
We're
know.
weirdos.
I love it. So how are you guys doing? How are things in Maui?
You know what? They've been great. They've been
Yeah.
great. We've just been, as you've seen, we've been like diving into our relationship with God.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of awesome family time, a lot of good beach days. The beaches just opened up out here again about a week ago. Sorry, it's super dorky. But it's like the first time it kind of felt back to normal, if that makes sense. Just being able to go out, enjoy the ocean, enjoy family time. Like our kids were swimming the whole time, or at least Ocean was. But it's been really nice. It's been really nice this last week.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's dive in. I'm loving this new series called Wow. Like, what the
Thank
heck?
you.
I'm loving it. I'm diving in with you guys. I'm just really enjoying it. So tell us a bit about it and what exactly is Wow?
Okay, so WOW stands for Words of Wisdom. And it kind of happened on accident during our vlogs. I mean, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, I would say. It was when we had a Bible study going on at our house during that time. And we just figured, all right, well, at the end of every vlog, we'll just kind of leave you with a little nugget. And it didn't always have to be Bible verses. It can just be something that we learned that week, and just little nuggets. And we always knew that we wanted to do more with it, but it took a long time to kind of get us to that place. And, this last month has been really just eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people, but specifically for us, it just gave us that time to go, like, what are we waiting for? We just need to jump in and really, really just go dig a little deeper, set those roots.
Right. I know that in the first episode, you guys talked about your spiritual breakthrough. And one of the things that I love is that I have both of you on together today. And Carlos, you're actually the first millennial man that has been on our platform. So we're very excited.
Let's go.
Because Steph and I have been, we love the perspective of male and female. We need that, right? So we're really excited that you both are here together. And especially when we're talking about faith and marriage and relationships, we're going to dive into that in just a bit. But talk to me about your spiritual breakthrough. Like, how did that happen? Why did you feel like you needed to dive a little bit deeper in your faith?
Wow. I think it came to a place where we had all this extra time and everything like throughout the day was kind of feeling monotonous. It was feeling like the same. We were like, why, like, yes, we're not out working, but we're home. So home should still feel good. And now it was feeling good, but now it's feeling mundane and repetitive. And why is that? Like, why am I feeling this lack of? And I kind of told Lex one day, I said, hey, I don't know if this will change anything, but you've always wanted to like read together and do this and just like dive into the word together. Maybe we just try it and see if that.
I was like, hallelujah!
You're like, finally.
Well, what's funny is I feel like I was missing that all along, and not just with me, but like together as a married couple. But it's interesting that it took our lives kind of getting to this like repetitive, like we get up, we do this, turn on the news, oh, we're still in this. Like everything just felt so stagnant.
Yeah.
And from there, we made a shift. And now that we've made that shift, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't live without that.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it was God's timing. And I don't know, it's something that I wish I had started years ago. But again, God's timing. So
it's always so perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although
And
it's very hard to see.
with kids.
Oh, for sure. And it's hard to see that sometimes, right? I think that right now Steph says it's so great. Steph was like, we're not all in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm, right? So we are all like universally just kind of going through whatever the heck is going on right now together. And it's really, really hard to lean on faith, especially for those who maybe stepped away from it or haven't been investing time in it. I've been fortunate enough, and I know you guys are fans of Elevation Church. Steph sent me a link 4 weeks ago. So that's been my virtual church for the last 4 weeks. And I am living.
Oh, so you just watched the whole, like, in the storm on the boat.
Girl, this past Sunday, I was like, I'm staying on that boat, even just like how I said it, even when I get to Rome in pieces of boat, I'm getting to Rome.
Even if it's just a little plank left of the boat.
Yep. It just gave me so much joy. And their album, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's on repeat.
I think we played it straight through at least 5 or 6 times a day here. It's just constant.
Constant.
That rattle.
You know what? I just want to say something though, real fast on Carlos, on us reading together. I remember for the longest time, I just wanted it so badly, and I would push for it, and it actually would make him want to kind of go further and further from it because of my my pushiness, I guess. Yeah. And I realized that I was putting it in my hands and not God's hands, because I wanted it so badly, and I'm sure God wanted it badly as well, but I wasn't necessarily just taking it to God. I was trying to do it all myself. Like, how do I make him a better man by doing this? Like, by having him learn about this and that. Like, it was really annoying. Like, as a husband, that's got to be really frustrating. And I just put it in God's hands, and I would read, I would do my own thing, and I would pray, and that was the biggest thing. I would pray and pray and pray in hopes that one day we would get to a place where we were both super chill about reading together, and me not being a little overbearing about it.
Well, I don't.
Takes time.
There's a Bible. Did you sign up to Holly's Bible study, Mrs. Better Half?
I didn't. Have you? Is it good?
Yes, because I have good news. I'm actually engaged as of 2 weeks.
I know. Okay, hold on. I saw your ring, but I was like, I don't remember her being engaged.
No way. When did this happen?
So as of 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago so you guys, we've been together for 15 years. On our 15-year anniversary.
I remember talking about this.
It happened. It finally happened.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. And it's funny because as I was watching, every week church, I had a feeling it might have happened. So when I saw that, I was like, I should sign up for that Bible study and check it out. And I'm loving it. And one of the things she says is that, Alexa, it's leaving your husband up to God, like not just kind of pushing him or pressuring him. Like, God's taking care of him. Like, you got to take care of yourself. God's got him.
Yes.
And I feel like you did that. And so now he's reading with you. Now you guys are investing together. And
I'm learning from him.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing.
But that's what I love about both perspectives. We'll both read the same verse, and it'll be totally different. Like, we'll read, like 10 verses straight through, and something will pop out to me that sticks with me, but then something will pop out to him, and he'll open my eyes in a way that I had not seen that before. But I think that's why it's so important to read together as husband and wife, but also go back a year later when you're in a different season and read those verses again, because they change when your seasons change. They mean something completely different to your heart as you learn and as you grow.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. And talking about seasons, as we're all in a very challenging one, I came across this video where Pastor Stevens was interviewing Bishop T.D. Jakes, and they were talking about that. Did you watch Crushing? Was that the one you watched?
Yes. So because I had no idea that T.D. Jakes had gone through all of that.
Oh, this is the one
before.
Yes,
this is what I was just telling you about. But
oh my God, we're so aligned right now.
Because it's a very old. It's not a new sermon.
No.
I went back and I was like, this should be interesting. So I'm literally in Costco shopping, listening to the sermon. But please continue. Please explain it.
No, I have to say, I tell you, God's timing is so perfect because we're so aligned right now. We're so like on a common ground. I'm loving this. So how they were talking about, crushing. And I really do believe that we're not immune to this, you guys. We all have to struggle in life. It's just, it is what it is. And we have to go through it. Whether it's beginning, middle, and end, we're going through challenging times. Yeah. Can you share a time that you can remember where it was really bad for you guys? Like the season was just so bad. You didn't even leading into faith was hard to do.
Yeah. We actually, Canada was I think the hardest trip.
Which one? The first one?
When you were filming.
Oh yeah. We had just moved to Maui.
Mm-hmm.
We were having a lot of issues in California. We just moved to Maui. I booked a TV show in Canada, and so we moved to Maui. Then we moved to Canada, and we had a almost 1-year-old.
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
the kid was fine, but I felt like every corner Carlos turned, it was literally like the enemy was just waiting for him at every corner. And there were just, you know, he was working, the people, as far as like the cast were great, but the people behind the scenes treated him terribly. But like they were out to get him. And I'd never seen anything like that. And Lowe's has such a good reputation.
But then it hurt us.
Yeah, because he would take it home.
So, no, I wouldn't take it home. You get out of here.
No, it wasn't ever mean.
Get out of here.
But, you know, here's, like, it's that thing of, like, when you're going through a hard time, it just sucks the life out of you. And when you're going through it daily, like, you can't get out. Like, you know what those shows are like. You get, like, sucked into a contract, and you can't leave. And when you're working with people who are just kind of hurting you daily, it takes a toll on everybody. It took a toll on me as a wife watching my husband go through this. We were new parents. We were not at home. We were living in a foreign place for us.
In a little tiny apartment. It was just like, oh.
It was hard. It was really hard.
It was crazy.
Very testing times.
But we grew a lot. You know, I wish that I'd been doing our diving in together, because that would have helped a lot. Right. But you know, it was probably what, a 6-month storm. I mean, it was rough, and our marriage was you know, getting tested left and right.
Oh yeah.
My patience was getting tested left and right. I mean, we didn't have any comfort of, like, you know, like, coming home is like the best thing. You're like, you know what? I'm home. I close my doors. My pantry is full with the stuff that I know. My fridge is full. We were in a rented apartment that was not up to any standard that we would have liked to. But at the time, we, you know, had just moved. We still owned the house in California. It was all we could afford. And we said, let's get through this.
It was the season we were in.
And it was a crazy season. But
we came out way stronger.
Way stronger, yeah. And
how did you, what were the steps that you guys took to sort of like get back strong as a married couple, but at the same time, like, as individuals? Because I believe that when you, and I've always believed this, when you're married, you don't necessarily become one, you become partners. It's a partnership. And so
absolutely.
You're still your individual, you know, person. So as an individual person, how did you guys individually, like, get better throughout this time so that you weren't affecting the team that you guys are?
I think we failed the first little bit.
Yeah.
It was hard at first.
You know, we had to have like more open conversations, and not just like, how are you feeling? I'm good. Okay, yeah, I'm good too. It was more like, hey, why do these people bother you? What are they doing, and how can we fix it? And it was like truly having. Sorry if you hear my kids screaming outside.
I love them so much. That's like as close as I can get to them.
No, but I think it took a deeper conversation of like, let's figure out exactly what's wrong. I want to understand what really bothers you, so that we can get to the bottom of it, right? And I think most people in relationships don't want to have those conversations. Yeah. I feel like a thing comes up, like if I ever need to talk to Alexa, this thing just like comes up in my body, and it's like, too much work. It's gonna just drag on, because then it's gonna be a big conversation. It's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be this. So then you just push it back down and you walk away. So I've been training myself now to, like, when those things come up, I'm like, I gotta ask it. I mean, and it's a simple thing. Like, I mean, I think it's the Holy Spirit being like, yo, let's have this conversation. Let's do this.
Sure.
Push you, Carlos. So like, even if like she walks by me and she looks cute, like normally I'm like, she looks cute, whatever. But if the Holy Spirit is saying, tell your wife she looks cute, tell her she looks cute. It takes 2 seconds, right?
Feels good.
But recently I've been like, if I feel like I need to say something, I say it, right? So like, hey babe, you know what? I really like your hair today. Normally I wouldn't even care. Like why would I say that? But something inside me is like, oh, I should say this to her, right? Right. So now that I've been doing that over and over and over again, I'm training my mind, my heart, my soul, my spirit. It's just like, oh, I hear this, I'm gonna go. Oh, I hear this, let's talk about this.
You become the vessel, right? Essentially,
right. Versus we're so used to like, I should talk about this. I'm going to shut it down. We should
Right.
probably have this conversation. I'm going to shut it down. I don't want to have confrontation. I'm going to shut it back down. And I think that's what we did over and over and over again until finally one day it was like, yo, this is not going to work.
Well, I had never gone through like depression in my life, and
Right.
I was it was hard. It just sucked. I was so like the joy was just being stripped from us, and I was giving it to God, kind of.
Right.
But it was a season. We go through dry seasons where it's really hard, and you have to break through it. Whether He wants to break through it or not, whether I want to break through it or not, one of you has to help keep the other above water.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what makes us a great team, is that just because he might be going through a hard time or he's sinking, that doesn't mean I'm just going to go sink with him because he's my teammate, so I better go sink with him. No, I'm going to keep both of our heads above water. And the best way I can do that is through prayer.
Absolutely.
And that's what I started doing. And it was really tough at first. We were still building community here in Hawaii. So we didn't have like a solid person that I felt like we both felt comfortable in to go through like marriage stuff with, like a married couple. So I think overall it was just a tough season. We felt lost. We were in the wilderness.
Right.
But in our own ways, I think we kind of healed separately before we healed together, which I think
And you know
important.
what? We learned a lot in terms of our career. Like
That was big career changes from that
we
point
made
on.
a decision from that point that we would never take another TV show that wasn't at home, because I mean, and listen, if anyone wants to shoot a show on Maui, let's go. But why are we gonna like build this family and this life here and then leave for 6 to 8 months and just like truly
Be at the mercy of other people.
be at the mercy of other people telling you what to say, what to do. You know, like I don't believe that that's the way that God intended it. You know,
I agree.
We're not supposed to like be chained to somebody else. So, you know, for us, we went through that and made a huge decision to not chain ourselves to people like that anymore. And we've passed on some incredible opportunities that financially would have been good, probably career-wise would have been
career
great.
changing.
But we decided after that experience, we said, on this earth right now, what is our priority? And we said one of them has to be the family.
Yeah.
Because if this unit isn't important, then go off and do this. I'll leave for 6 months. I'll go shoot a show in Antarctica. You know, like I'll see you in 6 months.
And you hear about that all the time in the industry. You hear about like families like after 15 years together, they're splitting up, and you're like, oh, well, why? Why are they splitting up? But then you see, like, when you really go, okay, well, the person was leaving for 6 months at a time. How do you continue a relationship when you don't even see that person for 6 months at a time? How do you be a good parent to your kids? And it is possible, but I think it's just so hard. And why continue the uprooting? I read this thing today. I might need your help remembering it, but basically, you can't bear fruit if you keep uprooting the tree. Ooh. So if we keep uprooting ourselves, and I know it's the industry that we chose, but like fully uprooting ourselves for months at a time, how are we going to bear fruit? How are our kids going to bear fruit? Because that's going to be really hard on them. So
do you have a phone? I mean,
do you have a phone?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Right now?
I am actually.
Phone?
If I have a case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you one of those crazy people that doesn't have a case?
No, I haven't had the Otter. What is it called? OtterBox.
OtterBox.
Yeah, I'm one of those crazy people.
I have this crazy case, but I think about it. Like think about it. We are so keen to protect our phones. We put a case on it. We put the little cover on the thing because if it falls, we want to make sure that it's okay. But we don't want to put a case around our relationship, right?
Ooh,
so it's like we're like, you know what? If she gets mad at me, I'll figure it out. Dude, put a case around your relationship. Like let's figure out how to protect our relationship, or else every time it falls, it's gonna crack. You know what I'm saying?
Which is getting harder and harder nowadays, like with social media, the stuff.
Well, I mean, look at the phones. The phones are basically all glass. They're so fragile. It's just like a relationship. It's so fragile.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you say the wrong thing, and then it's like, I mean, yesterday or what was it, like 2 days ago? Thank God we have these Otter cases, right? I mean, and these phones are so expensive. So I'm sitting there, I open the door to the truck, and it just like falls. And it's a tall truck. So if it falls like 8 feet and just goes, I look at it, I was like, oh, it's perfect. And I went, man, if I did not have a case on there, that thing would have been completely shattered. Back, front, side, and then I would have had to pay X amount of dollars to get it fixed. I would have gone through some trauma right there, you know? But instead, I said, let me protect this.
Yeah.
So let's put a case around our relationship so that when it does fall, because it will fall.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It will fall.
No one's perfect.
But put that case around there and, you know, spend the money on the good case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly.
Spend the money on the good case.
It's
I
worth
love your analogies. They're just, wow. That was
so
really
good, right?
That was good. Just like the speed limit one, I was like, damn. I was like, that is really good. I was like, that
and
is
his
so
analogies. I always learning.
It was
from
really
him.
just an excuse for me to drive the speed limit because I'm such a grandma when it comes to driving. I'm just like,
that's so funny. But Carlos, you said something interesting earlier about like how you were like, I should tell her she's pretty. What was that revelation like? Like, what made you be like, no, you know what? I am going to listen to what, let's say, the Holy Spirit is saying, or whatever the calling is inside your heart. I'm going to act on it. Number one, what were you afraid of by keeping it in? And what was that moment that changed that? What was that switch for you on the inside?
I think I was tired of the same thing every single day. So I was eager for change, which I think people can relate to. I was so eager for something different. So I'm the type of guy that when I dive into something, I'm 100%. Mm-hmm. Like if she's like, I want to learn, you know, the xylophone with you. I'm like, we're gonna learn xylophone. I'm gonna buy a xylophone and we're gonna practice every single day. Like I'm 100%. So I think when I was praying one day with Alexa, I opened my eyes and I looked at her and I was like, oh, she looks really pretty. And I was like, how come I never say that? So then I thought, okay, cool. Let me just say it. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, points. So I think
no, what I said later on, because you said it again later, I was like, are you okay? What's wrong with you?
But I think it was something that I went, okay, let me look at my entire life and let me look at the complete 180. And I said, I don't listen to this part, whatever it is, right? I don't listen to it. Let me just listen to it for a week and see what happens. And let me tell you, Daddy was getting very blessed. So I decided, well, this you know, it doesn't hurt me, all right? And every time it comes up, I'm just like, oh,
also, my love language is words of affirmation. So so it's a big deal when he encourages me, and it's
not hard. It's not hard. Like if I were to speak to anyone right now, I'd say it's not like we've been given this gift of like speaking, right? And it's not hard just to say, hey, you look great. Like, hey, your makeup looks great.
Yeah.
Hey, this lighting looks great on you. Like that's
Are you complimenting me right now? Thank you.
Yes, those were all for you.
You are glowing, by the way, like the golden glow. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's the highlight. That's the Charlotte Tilbury highlight.
Beautiful.
But it takes no effort. And if we lead with love, then why not?
Yep.
What was the second part of your question? I tend to go on tangents.
If you were afraid of, I do too, by the way. If you were afraid of rejection, was that so? Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, no, you answered it. It was the switch. But then also, were you afraid of rejection if you were honest about what you were feeling?
I don't think it was afraid of rejection. I think it was just laziness.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow.
But I think a lot of people, like you can say it's. Yes, there's that fear of rejection, but for the most part, things don't get accomplished because we're so lazy. As this new generation, like it's like, oh, if I can't, I mean, think about it. How Amazon? Because you got to put the credit card in, you got to pull the credit card out, you got to put the billing address, you got to put the shipping address.
There's a lot to
and
it.
You're just like, oh my gosh, is it on Amazon? I'll wait an extra day, like it's fine, I'll wait. But it's because we want it right now, right? So
it's a convenience.
Right. And we just had this conversation because we have all these, you know, different businesses that we're trying to, you know, get going. And I'm like, the reason why these things are just kind of stagnant right now is because we get really excited and then we see how much work it's going to take. And we're like, well, I mean, we can get by with just giving a little bit of work. I mean, we do want it to get big, but that's a lot of work, right?
Right.
So then for Alexa, what's been working for her, I you know, said, okay, let's make, you know, checklists like every week. do this week, do this, and let's accomplish a goal.
I need
right?
that, or else nothing gets done.
But
that's
right.
But then that in my head went, we are all just so trained for like, how do we get it like this? How is it quick? And somebody, I don't necessarily like I kind of agree with this, but somebody was like, you gotta want success.
Was it The Power Broke?
No. But it said something like, you gotta want success just like as much as you want to breathe, right?
Oh yes.
And at first I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I can live with that. But it made me start thinking, and it's like, I love breathing, and I want to breathe every single day. I don't want success that much. So how do I shift it? Like, I want to be impactful, right? Mm-hmm. So then I went, okay, if we're going to be impactful, these businesses, I believe, need to be successful. So instead of being like, I want to be successful, I'm like, let's be impactful. And because of that, these need to be successful. So what do we got to do to make these successful so we can be impactful?
Like, how can we actually change the world?
Right. So it was kind of like a mind switch.
Right. You change your perspective.
Like for me, but in general, like just from that one thing of telling her like, hey, you look pretty. I was like, oh my gosh, this changed my whole life.
See what happens when you compliment your wife.
Well, your intention is to be impactful, right? So your intention is, I want to impact her. So by giving her a simple compliment, I'm impacting her. I'm making her feel good.
And our marriage is now successful, right?
Right, exactly.
So instead of going, I really want a successful marriage, I'm like, I want to have a loving marriage. How do I have a loving marriage? I do this, this, and this, and this. So in turn, because of that, we will have a successful marriage.
I love that. I want to share, there's a couple questions that came in, and I picked, I don't know how much time you guys have. We're running a little bit out of time.
No, we're still good. We're still good. I don't hear them screaming
No one's
anymore.
screaming. Yep.
Okay, good. So there's a girl named Courtney that she asked. I promised her I would ask her this question on the live.
Okay.
How can I bring more faith and hope into my life during this hard time? So obviously it's very generic because she's not very specific.
No.
But
you know, I think I spoke about this in the last episode of the Wow that we did, but it's just that reminder that God is always with you every step of the way. And it's super easy to forget that. And it's super easy to focus on something else. Carlos was saying, I think a couple weeks ago, focus on the fruit. You got to focus on the fruit. And I think it's like in my house, I remember when I wanted to develop my relationship with God to be better, I have my little oil diffuser. It lets off a gong like every 15 minutes. It drives Carlos nuts, but I like it. And it was, in the beginning, it was that reminder that I should be bringing everything to God and talk to God. So every 15 minutes, I'd be like, oh my goodness, hi God, like it's me again. I just want to keep bringing things to you. And you don't have to, it's not just a meeting God on your knees. Like there will be moments where you have to meet God on your knees, like straight up, like God, I need you right now. But he wants to be with you every step of the way. So growing your faith in this season when it's really, really tough is just simply talking to him. Yeah. He should be your friend. He should be someone that you learn to hear what he sounds like to you, because, you know, I feel like everybody experiences God differently. Everybody hears from Holy Spirit differently. I know Carlos a lot of times will wake up and be like, I had a dream and I know this is what we had to do. So like God will really use.
You have to make me eggs.
Oh my gosh.
That was
stupid.
You have to make me eggs.
No, but Carlos, like I feel like God really shows up in Los's dreams. For me, it's a completely different thing, but you don't have, like, it's such a casual thing. And the way that we're talking with one another, that's how your relationship with God should be. Just talk to him.
We read this thing this morning in Jesus Calling, which, by the way, if you don't have it, get the app or just get the
I'm going to get it.
It's just daily, and you just go through, and it's just one day, and then you just kind of just like meditate on this. And it's, I mean, what's amazing is that you can read it every year, and like Lex said, everything is going to like mean something different to you.
Yeah, because of the season.
Yeah. But this morning, it was like, do you put on clothes? Do you put on makeup? Do you put on this? And it's like, you should be putting on God every single morning. You should be like welcoming him into your life, into everything you say, into everything you do, and put him on and say, you know what, today I'm going to see the world through God's eyes every single morning. Or else you wake up. I mean, Lex said something yesterday. She goes, we're so stimulated all day. We're on our phones. We're talking. We're doing this. And then at night, we're watching a movie. And then we go to sleep. And we wake up and we get our phones. And we do this and we do that. And she's like, dude, like, when do you have a moment? And we've created that moment now from 8 to 10 every single day. But we've created that where it's like, this is our moment to just get rid of all of that.
Silence the noise.
Silence the noise, all those distractions, and just take a moment and go, okay, cool, God, like I'm here, like let's connect, or else you never connect. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like we could never connect unless you said, hey guys, I would love to do this. I want to do this. Let's take some time.
Appointment.
Yeah, set an appointment.
We have an appointment in Rome.
God. So good.
I love that. Oh man, that was so good. So someone had asked, and it's funny because I actually relate to this. I want to know if you guys personally relate to this. So this person's asking, I actually could not understand their handle, but I just overcame a struggling season that lasted a few years, and I'm struggling with being deserving of the blessings that have come into my life. How can I overcome the fact that it's okay to now enjoy the fruits of my labor?
I feel like I even went through that. There was this woman that we met a while ago to just help us with kind of our prayer life and just kind of get rid of the junk that we were still holding on to. And one of the things that she made us pray was, God, we repent and we release fear of success. Like fear, like it's that fear of like, okay, if I do have success, like, what am I going to do with it? How, like, I don't feel deserving of it because of maybe my past or the junk that I'm holding on to. So you got to start just releasing all of that junk, but say it, declare it, say like, I don't want that anymore. Like we just answered these 3 questions the other day, and I hope I can remember them. One of them was like, how does God see me? Who does God say I am? Do you remember the third one? Okay, well, I'm just going to leave you with 2. So how does God see me, and who does God say I am? And if we are children of God, he loves us. He wants us to live joyfully and in abundance, and he wants us to be walking with him and relying on him through the hard seasons and through the great seasons, through the seasons of fruit. So I feel like for her, if it's a girl, just like get rid of that. You have to declare it. Say like, you need to repent and get rid of that notion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and look, people are going to say what they want to say. This world is full of people with opinions, and it's just like, I mean, I don't even read. I mean, I read. Actually, Alexa brings me all the nice comments, but I just can't anymore, because I'm the type of guy or not the guy. I'm the type of person right now in my life that negative things do affect me. And I'm working on it, but like when I read negative comments, it's because I just want everyone. I'm like, no, but you're missing the point.
How can I be impactful in that person's life? Like they're missing it.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of have to tune them out and tune God in. It's like great. There's people. There are going to be people whether you're I don't know, an astronaut going to space, or you're working at the bank. There are going to be people who have an opinion about what you're doing, and it's like
absolutely.
But what she was saying is like it's her own opinion. Like she was not feeling deserving.
Right. But I'm saying it might be because there are other people
influencing
that make you feel guilty for what you've achieved, or which tends to happen.
I've been there. Do you know who the worst? The worst culprit is family.
I know. I'm just
sad. I'm like, you're supposed to be my family, and it's hard because we're called to love, and I think that is one of the hardest things to do, is love people who aren't showing you love. But how else do we show them?
Exactly. And focusing on the impact, right? So focusing on the purpose of why you're here. I'm gonna check in. There's about a couple questions that came in here.
It's okay. I hear Ocean going, Daddy, let me inside.
Oh,
come here. You want to say hi to our friends? Come here. I got tape. By the way, you have to tell Steph that we miss her. You got tape?
oh.
Come here. You want to say hi to our tan boy right here?
Oh my God, cutie! How are you? You little angel.
Auntie.
You don't remember me? I played your fake mom. Remember?
Yeah. She played your mom in a movie.
Oh my God, you guys, he's so big and so cute.
What?
I can't with him.
Wow, baby.
You are getting too big, Ocean.
Cool.
Oh, he's
tired. Oh, what?
You're tired?
Oh, it's a tire? A shiny tire?
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Okay, wait, was this the new question? How do you give up trust and let God take control?
Yes.
Great. I know it's always going to be easier said than done, but I think it comes down to that appointment time.
Yeah.
If you just continue to meet with God about your situation. And listen, I prayed that me and Carlos would be doing these devotions together for years. And it didn't happen immediately. I would have loved for it to happen immediately, but it didn't. And I had to be okay with that. I had to know that God was still working in me and that God was still working in Carlos, and trust that God had it. Like, Carlos is not my child. Carlos is God's child. So I feel like whatever your situation is, give it to God and go, God, I know you're actually in control. Think of it this way. If you're looking at a parade, right? And if you're like watching the parade go by, you're in it at whatever point, like you're just watching it, right?
Right.
God is above, okay?
Right.
So God is like in a helicopter. He can see the beginning of the parade. He can see the middle of the parade. He can see the end of the parade. He is in complete control. He already knows what's going to happen. He already knows the plans that he has for your life. Like, he created us each individually with our own gifts, our own amazing journeys, but we have to be in tune to understanding and hearing his voice and what that sounds like in our lives, so that we can actually go on the path that we're supposed to be on. Like, and this is a little old school, so I apologize, but if like you go back and look at the Old Testament when they were all walking in the wilderness, it should have been a 2-month journey, and it took 40 years for the Israelites, because they were not obedient. They just kept like wandering. They kept like going off the path that God had for them. And they would go back on, and then they'd go back off. It should have been a 2-month journey, and it took 40 years. And I feel like that happens to us all the time. What should have been a 2-month journey will sometimes take us 40 years because of our obedience.
Have you guys ever experienced disobedience to your calling?
Oh, I think lots of times. I think,
You know what? There was a house in California.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted it so badly. And God was clearly saying, no, 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 no. But I wanted it. And he kept saying, no, 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 no. But I really wanted it. So after a lot of not listening, he was like, okay, great. Here you go. And that house ended up being such a burden, but also a blessing.
Right.
But it took away.
He'll turn it into a testimony.
It took away the peace. It took away a lot of money. It was really bad. But he used that house to break a lot of chains for me.
Yeah.
For one, I love like organization. I love cleanliness. I was not big about having people in my home. I was like, my home is for me. Like that's it. And I had this beautiful house with this beautiful pool, this beautiful view, and I was like, this is for me and my wife and my family. And we had a crazy flooding. It was really bad. It was
a faulty build.
Faulty build. We got into a lawsuit. All this craziness.
Wow.
But Alexa had been asking me to start a Bible study at the house, and I was like, I'm not starting a Bible study at the house because there's gonna be all these people coming into our house. I don't know them. They're coming in. They're getting my stuff dirty. They're gonna be in my stuff. But after all that happened, the house was basically, we weren't allowed to fix it, right? So it was
because of the lawsuit.
So we left it for months. I mean, like a year, 2 years. I mean, it was crazy. So
it was livable, by the way.
It was livable,
but
like it was no longer my like perfect little slice of paradise. So I was like, I don't care. Let's have a Bible study.
Invite whoever you
want. So we ended up doing this Bible study for a year, and every Monday night we had about 50 people show up.
Wow. It was amazing.
I mean, we ended up buying chairs. Alexa would cook for all these people. A lot of them ended up being like, students who like, they were looking forward to that meal on Monday, right? And she would cook a ton of food, and it opened my eyes to like, all of this stuff is just stuff. Like, like if like God didn't, and kind of going back to what, the last question, God has blessed us with all this stuff, not for us to just like keep. He's like, hey, listen, I'm trusting you that with this, you're going to go and you're going to give and you're going to share and you're going to show and you're going to spread the good news. And again, had we not got that house, who knows where we'd be.
Right.
But that was a huge chain breaking moment for me. And I mean, it cost Cost me a lot. Cost me an arm and a leg. But
Something to learn.
but it was way more, like, the lesson learned was way more valuable.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a testimony that I will tell people until the day I die, because definitely was he definitely kept saying no.
And you weren't listening, Carlos. You just
I
weren't
did not
listening.
listen 5 times.
You know what it
times.
is that it's, you know, and Oprah says it's so great. It's like it starts with a whisper and then like a little sign. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to have to just literally.
I'm going to hit you over the head with it.
I'm going to have to, because you need to listen. And one of my personal biggest fears is not being obedient, because I want to go wherever he's telling me to go. Although it may not be the vision that I created, right? So which essentially I believe is an illusion, because it's not necessarily real. And so I agree with you. And I think that all of us have gone through something like that. And we have to be obedient to the calling, as I like to think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But hold on.
Hold
on. And the only way to know whether it's God or not is to build that relationship with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
I love the latest episode you guys talk about that.
Right. So I feel like somebody asking, like, well, how do I know if it's God or not? How do I know if it's this? It's like the only way to know, you know, and this last question about how do you trust God? I was gonna say Ocean is learning how to swim, right? And I got him in the water with the floaties. He still doesn't trust me. But every day that we swim a little bit, he trusts me a little bit more, right? Yeah. I'm taking off the floaties. He's trusting me a little bit more now. Yep. You know, he's kicking. I still can't let him go. He's trusting me more and more, but it's taking me every single day, consistently taking that time to grow that trust. So how to, you know, just like let it go and trust in God. I mean, you got to build that relationship. Yeah. You know, it's not going to happen. Okay, cool. I trust him. No, because we're human. I mean,
exactly.
You know, so anyways, just
I thought that was great.
I just wanted to add that.
I love it.
I wish I would have done that when I didn't or bought that house. We would have known a lot more.
We've learned a lot.
Well, you know, I wouldn't regret it if I were you, because essentially you had to go through that. If not, it wouldn't have happened. Even though you tried 5 times, you're like, wow, I didn't listen, but it still happened because you had to go through a journey to get to where you are today.
You know, actually, hold on. I'm sorry to keep going on this, but I just feel like I need to say this. We were in that lawsuit with the house for 3 or 4 years, and it was miserable and terrible. God. Wow. And we moved to Maui in the midst of it because we felt like God was like
calling us here.
So we came here, and God made a way, and it was amazing. But
and it didn't make sense that we were able to financially
but
get out of it.
It all worked out. But I will never forget this. We were fighting this lawsuit, and Lex woke up one day, and she was praying, and she said, "Hey, I got to talk to you." And I go, and she goes, "I know this might sound crazy, but I feel like God told me that you guys have been fighting this lawsuit. It's taking your peace. It's doing this. I've already given this money that you're fighting for. I've already given it back to you. I've already given it back to you 10 years from now. Like let it go.
Mm-hmm. Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Surrender.
And you know, me, Mr. Like, I got everything. I was like, I'm not letting it go. I'm like, this guy's going to pay. We're going to get our money. And we literally let it go.
We lost everything.
We lost everything. We gave the house back. But let me tell you, the peace and the freedom that came from that was incredible. And, you know, I really believe that was listening to God's obedience, and He has blessed us tenfold after that.
Yeah.
But,
oh my gosh.
But it's that moment of like, if I trust in you, I'm going to lose everything. But you're not. You're literally
going to gain everything. But in the moment, you're going to feel like I've lost everything that I worked towards.
and I think everybody goes through that every year. There's always stuff that comes up, and you're like, if I let this go,
I'm gonna lose it.
It's all gonna be gone. And it's like, no, you're gonna gain so much more by getting, like, there may be a toxic relationship. There may be, you know, something with your family and some quarrel that you gotta just quarrel.
Sure.
That you gotta just let go so that you can gain what God has for you.
Yep.
I just felt like that needed to be said. I'm sorry to cut you
off. Oh, that's so powerful.
Sorry, that is so powerful, babe.
That was our whole testimony.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I needed to hear that today. And I actually I feel like crying because I needed to hear that today. Because I think it's important for people to understand that you have to surrender. And as a control freak myself, because you try to control everything in your life, you just have to, like you said, let it go. You have to surrender. Trust. If your faith is strong enough, meaning you invest the time and that because it's funny. I have always felt like I had a good relationship, but I definitely have strayed away, which is why I was so grateful that Steph sent me that link to Elevation. And I was like, because I was looking, I'm like, okay, this church doesn't resonate, that church doesn't, and I was just not, there was no connection. The second I jumped on that, I was like, oh, I just felt it. It was like it was almost like, when magnets, they just go boop, they just click. That's how it felt.
Right.
And so I just feel like as long as you're investing in that relationship, which you guys talked so much about in the last episode of your Wow series, you will be okay with surrendering, because the second you do, God's got your back. Like it's like the floaties, like he's got you. So you're not going to drown.
You're
going to be fine.
And I literally tell him every time, I'm like, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Trust me. But those are the words. And then I'm like, dude, this is what God is. He's like, dude, I got you. Like, you don't need the floaties. Like, don't worry about having X amount of dollars in your bank account so you can last 2 years. He's like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to give you exactly what you need for today. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yes. And I've seen that in my life so many times. I've seen it in my parents. I've seen it with you guys. And me and Lex, when we talked on the set, you really were open with me with your journey as well. And even on the podcast. So like, he's always got your back. And one thing I would love for you guys to close off. I know I've taken a lot of your time.
This is great.
But, for anybody out there that's struggling with the surrendering, what's something that you could, a little piece of advice that maybe an action forward, something that they could do today to help them start that process of surrendering? Because it's so important, especially now.
I feel like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, truly, what do you have to lose? I told Carlos the other day, I'm like, you know what? He asked me to write down things, like 3 things or something that was like really, really important to me, or like things that Alexa wanted or needed to do.
Personal goals.
Yeah, personal goals.
Yeah.
There we go. And my number 1 personal goal was to like be joyous, like to find joy at every moment, even if it felt like there was no joy, even if it was like a junk day. Like, how am I going to just make it joyful? It's that consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Yeah. Like, sure, that sounds pretty, but when in the moment, it's terrible. So I feel like when you just fully dive in completely, you actually do start finding the joy in the hardships. Like, you really do. And it sounds kind of crazy, but in that time that we were going through with the whole house and everything, man, God had us the entire time. And if we didn't have our faith and we were not diving in and listening to him, I can't imagine where we would be in that whole house situation. Like, we already didn't listen the first time.
Yeah.
But had we not been obedient when we heard him that last time, where would we be right now? And I feel like that surrender, you have to build that trust. It goes back to that last episode. Like, it's really hard to trust somebody and completely surrender if you're not building that relationship. So build that relationship and get closer and closer to that full surrender place. Like, some people can do it overnight, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. God gives us all testimonies for a reason, right?
Right.
Like, I watch all these pastors and they're, they're preaching and they're giving testimonies, and that is for us to go, okay, like, he's giving us hope, right?
Right.
Through these testimonies. So, I say this whole story about the house, and it's easy to go, well, you were there now and you're here. I'm telling you, I did not think that I was going to get through that, but I did. So now I have this testimony to share to people, to hopefully give them hope, so that whatever they're going through, to know that you will get through this. Okay. Mm-hmm. And as long as you know that, you will have a testimony to do this same thing and to spread the good news afterward. Like to me, I'm just like, dude, testimony, you just can't be afraid of it.
You can't.
Let it go, accept your circumstance and go, okay, cool. This is where I am today. And how do I go from here?
God,
man.
We all live like 2 years from now, right? I catch myself every day. This, just a side note, the next Wow that we're doing is going to have something to do with like always wanting the upgrade, right? We all always want the upgrade, and it's like, but the upgrade, it could be a year from now, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with like looking forward to things, but you got to live for today and not live for the upgrade, right?
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Oh, you guys, that was so good. You guys are really amazing. It's funny, Steph, she's like, Steph's really enjoying the wow. She's like, why do I feel like they should open a ministry, or like you guys should like start your own thing?
Carlos has this natural just gift of,
he does.
You never feel like you're being talked like at. You just feel like you're in conversation with him. You feel like you're just having a conversation with him, and I really feel like you have just you're a total vessel. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch.
Well, thank you. And thank you for letting us,
thank you so
come
much.
on here and share. And, this.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? I'm so grateful for you guys. And I'm so excited. I really love the series. I can't wait for the podcast. So, let me know.
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
We're very excited about that. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you both. I send you guys so much love, and I hope to hug you and squeeze you guys soon and kiss the babies for me. I love you guys.
We love you. And congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks. You guys said, when we can finally plan things. I don't know what the heck's going to happen with the world. I hope you guys will come down to Miami.
Will it be on a cruise ship? Is the wedding going to be on a cruise ship?
Are you hinting? Well, we have connections.
Yeah.
We know a few people.
Listen, if we can go on a cruise after the wedding.
I was gonna say.
Oh my gosh. Love you guys. Tell Steph hi for us.
I will. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm gonna leave this right here so that you guys I'm sure you guys are already following them because they're awesome, but make sure that you are following Alexa and Carlos, and check out their new series called Wow. It's amazing, you guys. Thank you so much for joining the live and being a part of it. And I encourage you guys to see us on Saturday. We have a live podcast meetup event with Michelle Polder, all about overcoming your fears during this challenging time. So I hope you join us. The link is in the bio. Thank you guys for joining, and see you next week.